Scene safety, BSI. My partner and I come on the scene and we found a patient who has fallen down the stairs. At this point, I'm gonna have my partner hold C-spine and I'm gonna check his responsiveness. Hey sir, are you okay? No response. Check his airway. Check for breathing. There's no breathing, no chest rise. Checking for a pulse. Pulses are there, weak but thready. I'm gonna check his jaw with a modified jaw thrust to see if there's anything in the airway that we have to take out. Non-obstructive. Also using a modified jaw thrust. Non-obstructive. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a rapid trauma assessment and make sure that there's no bleeding that we need to address at this time. And check the back of his head, back of his neck. Gonna use a pen light. Check for Pearl. They're both equal but non-reactive, so I'm gonna note that. I'm gonna check his ears to see if there is any cerebral spinal fluid that may have been coming out of the ears. I'm gonna check both sides. Non-present, I'll continue on. I'm seeing that there's no tracheal deviation or JVD, so I am at this point gonna put a cervical collar on. Put a cervical collar on there. Also right now, to secure that airway, I'm gonna drop in an OPA to make sure so that the tongue doesn't obstruct the airway. And then also, when the fire crews have arrived, so I'll have one of the firemen start a BVM with high flow O2 at 15 liters per minute, and I'm gonna continue on. Seems that collar's in place there. Shoulders. Quick pulse check. I noticed that they're there, but they're thready. Same here. Weak but thready. Palms are also cool, pale, and clammy. So I'm gonna note that, noticing that it's a sign of shock, and continue on with my rapid assessment, and we will address that momentarily. Check the chest, the ribs for decap, BTLS. Check the 4 quadrants. Nothing present. Check the hips. Make sure for stability, and there's no crepitus there, so I'm continuing on. Leg. Checking for a pulse, present. Leg, also checking for a pulse, present. So at this point, I've determined that this patient is a high priority patient, and that we will package this patient and rapidly transport to the hospital. While in the back of the ambulance now, we're here. I'm gonna do a quick vitals check. So at this point, I have determined that with a blood pressure, he's 90/72. So noting that, I will continue on. Breathing, we're breathing for him. His oxygen stat now is 96. So I'm gonna continue on. His end tidal is still a little bit low. It's at 25. So noting that, I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna do a blood sugar. We find that that it is normal, so I'm gonna continue on between the ranges of 80 and 120. Now on to the primary assessment. I'm gonna check the head. Still noting the eyes that they're equal but non-reactive. Checking the ears again. They still don't have any cerebral spinal fluid coming out of them, so I'm going to continue on. Gonna make sure zygomatic arch, the mandible. Still check and see if that airway is still being maintained with the modifications that we have applied. Still, cervical collar is intact. No tracheal and tracheal deviation or JVD still current. So I'm gonna continue on. Gonna check his clavicles. Present, no crepitus. Here, pulses are still present, but thready. Again, 4 quadrants. No changes. Yep, still present at the, no pulses. There is pulses present there, so I'm continuing on. Checking the hips, no crepitus, or also he doesn't have any form of erection to say that it was a brain injury, so I'm going to continue on. Here, pulse, present but weak, present but weak. At this point, I'm going to have my partner still maintaining that C-spine. I'm going to, on his count, we're going to roll him towards me to just make sure that we didn't miss anything on the back. Check the back of the head, back of the neck, check his spine, check the gluteus, nothing, and the back of each leg. And obviously down on heads count once again. So this person is still suffering from shock-like symptoms. We are transporting rapidly to the hospital. I would also cover him with a blanket, just for mitigations of shock. I will also start a line with normal saline to try to boost up that blood pressure for him, to try to improve his odds. Other than that, that is what I would do with this patient. Thank you very much.